I'm not ready, but the rancher claimed her anyway, and it changed everything. Cole Harding rode slowly across the rolling plains of Duran. 7, the twin suns of the frontier planet painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Dust rose behind his hooves as his horse, a sturdy hybrid breed adapted to the rough terrain, carried him steadily toward his ranch. The land stretched endlessly, dotted with strange alien plants that shimmered in the sunlight and rocks that seemed to hum faintly when the wind blew. Life on the frontier was hard, and Cole had learned long ago that survival depended on skill, courage, and quick thinking. The Harding Ranch had stood for 3 generations, carved out of this harsh, untamed land by humans who refused to be beaten by nature or by anything else. Cole had taken over after his father passed, and he had grown into the role of protector, rancher, and occasional problem solver. Today, however, something felt off. The wind carried a strange metallic scent, like ozone after a storm, but there hadn't been any storms in days. His horse nervously flicked its ears, and Cole's hand instinctively went to the blaster strapped to his belt. Frontier life wasn't kind to those who ignored danger. It was then that he saw her. At the edge of the ridge, crouched near a cluster of glowing shrubs, was a woman. She was small, slight, and clearly frightened. Her clothes were dirty and torn, and she clutched something tightly to her chest. She didn't notice him at first, and when she did, her eyes widened with panic. "I'm not ready," she whispered, her voice trembling. Cole slowed his horse and dismounted, keeping his hands clearly visible. He wanted her to see he meant no harm. "Hey," he called gently. "I'm Cole Harding. You're safe here. For now. Come down from there." The woman shook her head violently. "No. Please. I can't. You don't understand." Her words trailed off as she glanced over her shoulder, fear flashing in her eyes. Cole's instincts told him she was running from something or someone. In these parts, strange travelers were common, but desperation was rare. Most people who came this far were either lost or hiding. This woman was clearly hiding, and he could see she was capable of danger herself. "I don't care what you're running from," Cole said, his voice calm but firm. "You're coming with me. You can fight it out here alone, or you can survive with me. Your choice." Her eyes widened even more, and she took a step back. You can't claim me! You don't!" Cole sighed, a little amused despite the tension. Frontier rules were simple. Those you protect are yours to claim. Not in a cruel way, but in a way that keeps people alive. I'm claiming you, not because I want to, but because you'll die out here alone. Come on. I don't like chasing people. Fear and hesitation battled across her face, and for a moment, it seemed she might run. Then a low whirring noise came from the sky, a sound that didn't belong in nature. The air shimmered slightly, and a tiny hovering drone appeared, scanning the area with a cold green light. Her eyes went wide in terror. "They found me," she cried. "They'll—" Cole didn't wait for her to finish. He grabbed her arm gently but firmly and pulled her down from the ridge. His horse nickered, and he helped her mount behind him. She clung to him instinctively, almost as if the motion of riding at speed could shield her. "Hold on tight," Cole warned. "We're leaving." The horse sprinted across the plains, kicking up dust that glinted in the twin suns. Behind them, the drone hovered, its green searchlight scanning. Cole's heart pounded, but he didn't panic. He had survived worse. As they reached the lower ridges, he looked back. More drones were emerging, small but deadly, armed with sensors and weapons. He needed a plan, and fast. Who are they?" The woman gasped, clutching him tightly. Cole glanced at her. "You're going to have to tell me. Quick." She swallowed hard and her eyes darted nervously around. I can't. They're after an artifact, something powerful. If they get it, they'll destroy everything." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Artifact?" "Yes." Her voice was urgent now, trembling with fear. It's not just technology. It's energy, alien energy. I discovered it, and now they want it. I'm the only one who knows how to control it. If they get it, it'll be the end of life on this planet, maybe even farther." Cole's mind raced. He didn't fully understand the science, but he did understand danger. "Okay," he said calmly, "then we protect it. You and I, together. You ride with me, you follow my rules. We survive. Deal?" She hesitated. Then, finally, she nodded. "Deal. For now." They rode hard through the rocky plains, avoiding the open areas where the drones could track them easily. Cole led them to an old canyon he had used as a hideout when raiders came near. The canyon was narrow, with steep walls that blocked the drone sensors and hid them from sight. Once inside, they dismounted, and Cole scanned the perimeter. "Safe, for now," he muttered. He turned to her. "Name's Cole. You?" "Lyra," she whispered. "Lyra," Cole repeated, nodding. "All right, Lyra. You're with me. We'll figure this out." She didn't respond immediately. She was still shaking, her eyes darting nervously to every shadow. Cole could understand that. Life on the frontier could be deadly even without alien threats. They settled near a small, hidden stream in the canyon. Cole offered her some water, which she accepted cautiously. As she drank, she finally spoke. "I didn't want anyone involved. I'm not ready," she said softly. Cole chuckled faintly. "I've heard that before. Being ready doesn't matter out here. What matters is surviving. You're alive, and that's enough for now." Lyra's lips trembled, but she didn't argue. She knew he was right. Out here, survival was never guaranteed. As night fell, the canyon cooled rapidly. The twin moons rose, casting pale light across the jagged rocks. The alien wildlife stirred. Creatures with luminous eyes and shifting forms moved silently in the shadows. The wind carried their distant calls, eerie and beautiful at the same time. Cole set up a small perimeter using old ranch sensors and improvised traps. Even with the advanced technology of the aliens hunting them, the human mind could be unpredictable. He relied on his instincts, on patterns learned from years of ranching and survival. Humans were clever, adaptable. He smiled to himself. Maybe that was their advantage after all. Lyra watched him work, fascination mixed with fear. How can you think so clearly under pressure?" she asked. Cole shrugged. "Years of practice. Frontier life teaches you fast. You either adapt or you die. That's simple." For the first time since arriving on this planet, Lyra felt a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, she had a chance. And maybe, just maybe, this rugged human beside her was more than just a protector. He could be the difference between life and death. They settled near the stream, sharing silence as the night deepened. The drones hadn't found them yet, but Cole knew it was only a matter of time. Tomorrow they would need to move. Tonight, they could rest. Lyra finally spoke, her voice small but determined. I can trust you, right?" Cole looked at her, his face serious but kind. "Yes, but trust isn't enough. You've got to fight. You've got to think. And you've got to survive. Humans always do, Lyra." That's what makes us us. She nodded slowly, understanding the weight of his words. She wasn't ready, not fully, but she was ready enough to survive tonight. And survival was the first step toward anything else. Above them, the twin moons shone bright. Somewhere in the distance, the alien drones searched, unaware that they had underestimated the humans they hunted. Cole and Lyra didn't sleep much that night, but they didn't need to. They were alive, together, and for now, that was enough. Out here on a wild frontier planet, survival was never simple, and that was exactly how humans liked it. The night passed. The first light of dawn glinted off the canyon walls, painting everything in gold. Cole looked at Lyra, who was silently observing the rising sun. "Ready or not," he said, "today we run, we fight, and we survive. That's the way of the frontier." Lyra swallowed, nodded, and whispered softly, almost to herself, "I'm not ready, but I have to be." Cole gave her a small approving smile. Humans might not always be the strongest or the fastest or the most advanced, but one thing was certain. Humans never gave up, and that was a force that no alien machine could ever predict. Together they rode out of the canyon, the first step in a journey that would test everything they knew, everything they could do, and everything that made them human. The plains of Duran 7 stretched endlessly before Cole and Lyra, the twin suns now climbing higher in the sky. The wind carried a sharp scent of dust and ozone, a reminder that the frontier was alive and unforgiving. Cole rode steadily, his horse navigating the rocky terrain with practiced ease, while Lyra clung tightly behind him. "I can't believe you actually claimed me," Lyra muttered, her voice still trembling from the night's events. Cole didn't answer immediately. He scanned the horizon, noting the faint shimmer of heat and dust where the alien drones might have been. "Claiming you isn't about pride or ownership," he said finally. "It's about keeping you alive. Out here, being alone is a death sentence." She didn't argue. She knew he was right. Survival on this planet wasn't a game. She had run from her pursuers for days, relying on her own wits. But she had quickly realized that alone, she would not last. Humans were clever, adaptable, and Cole Harding, rugged, determined, unpredictable, was exactly the kind of person who could save her. After several hours of riding, they paused at a narrow canyon, one of Cole's secret paths known only to him. The walls of the canyon rose sharply on either side, cutting off sight lines and hiding them from drones. Cole dismounted and gestured for Lyra to do the same. "Why here?" she asked, glancing around. Cole set his pack down and began checking the perimeter. "This canyon has an old human hideout," he explained. "It's protected by natural rock formations, and I've set up some traps in case anyone follows. We can rest, gather supplies, and plan our next move." Lyra looked skeptical but didn't protest. She had learned to trust him quickly. There was a calm confidence in Cole that made her feel safer than she had in days. As Cole prepared the small camp, Lyra finally spoke. "I should explain everything. You deserve to know why I'm being hunted." Cole nodded. "Go ahead. Make it quick. They could still be tracking us." Lyra took a deep breath, clinging to her pack as if it were a lifeline. "I'm a scientist," she began. "Not just any scientist. I was studying ancient alien artifacts. One of them, one I discovered recently, is unlike anything anyone has seen. It's powerful. It can manipulate energy in ways humans barely understand. I found it hidden deep under a crashed alien ship, buried for centuries." Cole raised an eyebrow. "And someone wants it?" "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling. Not just anyone. There are factions, alien factions, some human mercenaries, and a few groups I don't even recognize. They want the artifact, and they will stop at nothing to get it. If they succeed, it could destroy entire colonies, even entire planets. And I'm the only one who knows how to control it, or even locate it fully. Cole paused, considering her words. Alien artifacts were dangerous, no doubt, but the frontier had its share of threats, and he had survived plenty of dangerous situations before. He glanced at Lyra, studying her closely. You know how to control it, huh? Lyra hesitated. Partially. It responds to human thought, but it's complicated. I've only been able to harness small amounts safely. Anything bigger, and it could be catastrophic. Cole's mind worked quickly. The artifact was dangerous, yes, but that also meant it could be used to protect them. Humans were clever, resourceful, and if anyone could figure out a way to stay alive, it was him. He sighed and looked around the canyon, noting every shadow, every rise in the rocks. All right, we'll keep moving, but first, we need a plan. You stay close, follow my lead, and no surprises. Understand? Lyra nodded. She had no choice. For the first time in days, she felt a small glimmer of hope. Cole's presence was grounding, his confidence infectious. As they prepared to move deeper into the canyon, Lyra glanced at Cole. How do you stay so calm? They're faster, smarter, more advanced. Cole shrugged. Speed and tech aren't everything. Humans are unpredictable. We adapt. We improvise. You can plan for everything but the unexpected. That's where humans shine. Lyra frowned. You make it sound easy. Cole gave a small smile. It's not easy, but it works. They traveled cautiously, moving through narrow passages and using the terrain to their advantage. Cole led them along paths that only he knew, small shortcuts that would confuse anyone following them. Lyra began to understand that survival here wasn't just about strength or technology. It was about thinking ahead, adapting, and using the environment. Humans had always done that, and Cole was a master at it. By late afternoon, they came to a small plateau overlooking a wide valley. Cole paused and signaled Lyra to stay low. In the valley below, he spotted a small patrol of drones scanning systematically. Their green sensors swept the area like deadly eyes, searching for any sign of life. They're still following you, Cole said quietly. We need to cross without being seen. Stick close to me and follow my lead. Lyra swallowed hard but nodded. Cole's confidence was contagious. Together they began to move across the plateau, crouching low and using the rocks for cover. The drone's sensors swept close, and Lyra could feel her heart pounding in her chest. Any mistake could be fatal. Cole signaled, and they ducked behind a rock formation just as a drone passed overhead. Lyra held her breath, trembling, but Cole's steady gaze reassured her. Human instinct, human courage. These things mattered more than technology. The drones could predict patterns, but they couldn't anticipate improvisation, and Cole had plenty of that. Finally, they made it across the valley and reached a small grove of alien trees. Cole let out a low whistle, and Lyra exhaled in relief. That was close, she said. Cole nodded. Too close. But we made it. That's what counts. They rested briefly, catching their breath and assessing their supplies. Lyra looked at Cole with a mixture of admiration and curiosity. Why help me? She asked. You don't even know me. Cole shrugged, looking toward the horizon. Out here, you help those who need it. That's the rule. Besides, Humans survive better when we stick together. Lyra considered his words. She had spent so long running alone, relying only on her intelligence and knowledge. But intelligence alone wasn't enough. Humans thrived because of their bonds, their courage, their unpredictability. Cole embodied all of that, and for the first time she felt the weight of being part of something bigger than herself. As night fell, they set up a small camp in the grove. Cole used his ranching skills to set traps and sensors, improvising with alien technology he had salvaged over the years. Lyra watched in fascination, seeing how a human mind could adapt even when the odds were stacked against them. I never thought humans could be this clever, Lyra admitted quietly. Cole smiled faintly. We're full of surprises. Don't underestimate us. As they sat by a small fire, Lyra finally opened up more. She told Cole about her work with the artifact, how she had discovered it buried deep under alien ruins, and the potential it held. Cole listened intently, asking questions and pointing out potential dangers she hadn't considered. Together, they began to formulate a plan, not just for survival, but for protecting the artifact. Their conversation was interrupted by a faint hum in the distance. Cole's eyes narrowed as he scanned the dark horizon. "They're coming," he muttered. "Get ready. We might have company sooner than we think." Lyra's heart raced. She had been running for days, but now, standing beside Cole, she felt a strange mix of fear and determination. The humans who had carved out lives on this harsh frontier were strong, adaptable, and unpredictable. With Cole by her side, she realized they just might survive the coming storm. As the first of the alien drones appeared on the horizon, Cole whispered to Lyra, "Stick close. Watch, learn, and follow my lead. Humans always find a way." The drones descended, their sensors glowing green in the dark. Cole's eyes flicked between Lyra and the approaching threat. "Tonight," he said quietly, "we fight. And we survive." Lyra took a deep breath, gripping her pack tightly. She wasn't ready. Not fully. But with Cole by her side, she was ready enough. And on Duran, 7, sometimes ready enough, was all that mattered. The night erupted into motion as Cole led the way, using human ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking to evade the drones. Every step, every decision, every movement mattered. And as Lyra followed him, she realized something she hadn't in days. Humans, unpredictable and resilient, were a force no alien technology could ever fully anticipate. The chase had begun. The sun rose slowly over the jagged horizon of Duran, 7, casting long shadows across the alien landscape. Cole and Lyra moved cautiously, leaving the safety of the canyon behind. Their path took them through rocky plateaus, winding gullies, and strange fields of luminescent plants that glowed faintly even in daylight. Every step was deliberate. The drones were still out there hunting, and one wrong move could mean disaster. Lyra rode close behind Cole, her nerves taut. "I didn't sleep much," she admitted quietly. Cole glanced back at her. "Neither did I. Out here, sleep is a luxury. You get used to moving on little rest. Humans survive on instinct and focus." Lyra shook her head. "I can't believe how calm you are. The drones, they're fast, intelligent, and relentless. How can you not panic?" Cole's eyes narrowed, scanning the terrain. "Panic gets people killed. Humans are clever, unpredictable. The aliens rely on patterns and precision. We don't follow patterns. They can't anticipate us. That's our edge." As they crossed a narrow ridge, Lyra's curiosity got the better of her. "What is it about humans that makes you so adaptable?" Cole smirked faintly. We survive, not because we're the strongest or the fastest or the most advanced. We survive because we think, we improvise, we make mistakes and learn from them. That unpredictability? That's our weapon. Lyra was silent for a moment, considering his words. She had spent her life relying on logic and science. But here, logic alone wasn't enough. The human ability to adapt, to act instinctively and think creatively at the same time, that was something alien technology could never match. The terrain became increasingly hostile as they moved into the wild plains. Strange creatures prowled the shadows, six-legged predators with glowing eyes, massive herbivores with spiny armor, and flocks of bird-like aliens that screeched when disturbed. Cole navigated the dangers with ease, using hand signals and subtle movements to guide Lyra. "Stay low," he whispered, as a predator passed nearby, its eyes scanning the horizon. "Move when I move. Humans aren't strong, but we're smart." Lyra followed his lead, her heart pounding in her chest. Every encounter with the alien wildlife was a reminder of the dangers of the frontier, but it was also a testament to human ingenuity. Cole set traps, created diversions, and used the terrain to their advantage. After hours of careful travel, they reached a river that cut through the plains. The water was clear but fast, and alien fish with translucent bodies darted beneath the surface. Cole dismounted and examined the riverbed. "We need to cross, but we can't just swim," he said. "The drones will track us in the water and the predators won't hesitate. We'll make a bridge, quick, simple, and human." He gathered rocks and branches, improvising a makeshift crossing. Lyra watched in amazement as Cole's hands moved quickly, arranging materials with precision. Within minutes, they had a narrow but sturdy path across the river. "Humans always find a way," Cole said, offering her a hand as she crossed. "It's what we do." Once across, they paused briefly to rest. Lyra's curiosity got the better of her again. "The artifact, why is it so important? Why would anyone go to such lengths to get it?" Cole glanced at her. "I don't fully know. But anything powerful enough to threaten entire colonies, that's dangerous in the wrong hands. Humans might not be perfect, but we can recognize danger and act. That artifact in your hands, it could be our advantage, or a disaster. Either way, we survive by staying ahead of them." Lyra nodded slowly, understanding the truth in his words. The artifact was powerful, yes, but human ingenuity, courage, and quick thinking, that was their real advantage. As they continued their journey, the wind picked up, carrying a strange scent. Cole froze, scanning the horizon. "Storm coming," he muttered. The alien winds of Duran 7 were fierce, capable of tearing through unprotected settlements. "Can we outrun it?" Lyra asked, concern in her voice. "We adapt," Cole replied. "We survive. Humans do." The storm hit sooner than expected, fierce and blinding. Dust and debris whipped through the plains, and the luminescent plants bent under the pressure. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Cole led them to a narrow cave he had noticed during his scouting trips. Inside, the wind was muffled, and the temperature was slightly warmer. Lyra shivered, both from cold and fear. "I can't believe we made it," she whispered. Cole smiled faintly. "We did, because we're human. We survive." The cave provided temporary shelter, but it wasn't safe for long. Cole checked their perimeter, setting small traps and markers to alert them if anyone, or anything, approached. Lyra watched him work, learning. Humans had a way of turning even the most dangerous situations into opportunities for survival. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the howling of the storm outside. Finally, Lyra spoke, her voice quiet. I've never seen anyone like you. Calm, focused, always thinking, even when everything is against you. Cole shrugged. Years on the frontier. You either get used to it or die. Humans survive because we adapt. That's all there is to it. As the storm subsided, they emerged from the cave to find the plains transformed. Dust had settled, alien plants were bent and broken, and small creatures emerged cautiously from their hiding places. The landscape was dangerous, but it was also beautiful in its raw, untamed way. We keep moving, Cole said. We're not safe yet, but every step forward, every challenge we face, it makes us stronger. Lyra nodded, feeling a mix of fear and determination. She wasn't ready when she first met Cole, but each step, each survival moment was teaching her. Humans were unpredictable, resourceful, and resilient, and with Cole guiding her, she was learning to embrace that strength. Their journey continued, moving through the alien wilds. They encountered more hazards: quicksand pits that could swallow a person whole, territorial predators that tested their courage, and unstable rock formations that required careful navigation. But every challenge reinforced Cole's earlier words: humans survived by thinking, adapting, and acting with courage. By late afternoon, they reached the edge of a dense forest, trees with thick, twisting trunks and leaves that glowed faintly in the fading light. Cole dismounted and gestured for Lyra to follow. This forest is tricky, he warned. Predators hide and the drones could be lurking, but we can use it to our advantage. Humans think differently. They can improvise. Lyra followed closely, her eyes wide as she observed Cole's methods. He moved silently, scanning for movement, listening for subtle sounds. Every step was calculated yet flexible, a perfect balance of instinct and strategy. Suddenly, a noise rustled behind them. Lyra froze. Cole raised a hand, signaling her to stay calm. A predator emerged from the shadows. A massive, six-legged creature with glowing eyes. It growled, testing them. Cole acted quickly. He grabbed a nearby branch, slashing at the ground to create sparks. The creature flinched, and Cole used the distraction to maneuver them behind a tree. Lyra gasped, but quickly followed his lead. Humans aren't the strongest, Cole said, catching his breath. But we're smart. We improvise. That's why we survive. The creature eventually retreated, and they continued. Lyra's respect for Cole and for humans in general grew with every step. They weren't invincible, but their unpredictability, courage, and cleverness made them a force even alien technology couldn't fully anticipate. As night fell, they set up a small camp in the forest, hidden among thick foliage. Cole checked their traps and sensors while Lyra prepared their meager supplies. They shared a quiet moment, watching the alien sky above. The twin moons reflected off the leaves, casting an ethereal glow. You know, Lyra said softly, I think I'm starting to understand humans better. We're more than just strength or technology. We survive because of our minds and our hearts. And maybe that's why we can overcome anything. Cole nodded, his expression serious but approving. Exactly. And we'll keep surviving. Together. Lyra smiled faintly. For the first time in days, she felt a glimmer of hope. She wasn't ready when she first arrived, but with Cole by her side, she was learning to embrace human resilience, ingenuity, and courage. The forest around them was alive with sounds, strange creatures calling in the night, but they were safe for now. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, more predators, more drones, and the ever-present threat of those who wanted the artifact. But tonight, they rested, knowing that humans always found a way. And on Duran, 7, survival wasn't just about strength. It was about intelligence, courage, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity. The night stretched on, quiet but tense. Cole kept watch while Lyra slept fitfully, her dreams filled with strange images of the artifact and the dangers that pursued them. She woke several times, always reassured to see Cole alert and ready, a living embodiment of human ingenuity and determination. As the first light of dawn touched the forest canopy, Lyra whispered to herself, "I'm learning, slowly, but I'm learning." Cole stirred, noticing her words. "Good," he said quietly. "Because humans survive by learning, adapting, and never giving up. And that's exactly what we're going to do." Together they prepared to leave the forest, continuing their journey across the wilds of Duran, 7, unaware that the challenges ahead would test everything they had learned, and that the human spirit would once again prove its power. The forest thinned as Cole and Lyra pressed forward, the alien landscape opening into jagged hills and scattered plains. The terrain was rough, but Cole had planned their path carefully. Every rock, every rise, every shadow could be used to their advantage. Lyra rode close behind, still clutching the artifact tightly in her pack. She had grown accustomed to following Cole's lead, trusting his instincts even when she didn't fully understand them. Humans were unpredictable, she thought, and that unpredictability was their strength. "They're closer," Cole said, scanning the horizon. His eyes narrowed as he spotted the faint shimmer of alien drones moving methodically across the plains. "They've tracked us. Time to fight smart, not hard." Lyra's pulse quickened. She had never been in a real fight before, let alone against advanced alien technology. "What? What can we do? They're stronger, faster, smarter?" Cole smiled faintly, a glimmer of confidence in his eyes. "We're humans, and humans survive by thinking differently, by improvising, by being unpredictable. Watch and learn." They approached a narrow pass between two hills, a natural choke point. Cole dismounted and began setting small, improvised traps. Rocks were stacked carefully to roll down if disturbed. Hidden pits were camouflaged with foliage, and reflective panels were positioned to confuse the drone's sensors. Lyra watched, impressed. "All of this with just basic supplies?" Cole nodded. "Basic doesn't mean weak. It means clever. Humans survive because we adapt." As the first drones appeared on the horizon, Cole crouched low, signaling Lyra to do the same. The drones advanced with precision, scanning for heat signatures and movement, but they weren't prepared for human unpredictability. Cole triggered the first trap. A cascade of rocks tumbled down the slope, scattering the drone's sensors. Lyra gasped as the machines struggled to adjust. "Move!" Cole shouted. They sprinted across the pass, weaving through traps he had set and using the terrain as cover. The drones fired pulses of energy, but Cole's traps and quick thinking kept him one step ahead. They reached the top of a ridge overlooking a wide valley where the main group of enemy forces was gathered. Human mercenaries, allied with alien machines, had formed a tight perimeter. Cole paused, studying their formation. "They're organized, but predictable," he muttered. "We're not." Lyra frowned. "But we're outnumbered. Outgunned." Cole's eyes gleamed. "Outnumbered, yes. Outsmarted? Never." He devised a plan quickly. Using the artifact's small energy pulses, Lyra could create temporary blinding flashes and heat bursts. Alone, they were weak. Together, combined with Cole's traps and the natural terrain, they could turn the enemy's strength against them. "Ready?" he asked. Lyra nodded, her fear tempered by determination. "Ready?" Cole led the charge. They moved like shadows, dodging patrols, triggering traps, and using the terrain to hide their approach. Lyra activated the artifact cautiously, sending bursts of energy that disoriented the enemy and disrupted their communication. The mercenaries and drones faltered, unable to adapt to the unexpected. "See?" Cole shouted over the chaos. "Humans think differently. Humans improvise. That's how we survive." The battle was fierce but short. Cole used every trick at his disposal: hidden pits, collapsing rocks, false trails, and carefully timed energy pulses from the artifact. The enemy, powerful and organized, couldn't predict the human mind at work. Lyra's confidence grew with each success. She had feared the artifact, feared the alien technology, feared herself. But with Cole leading the way, she began to understand that human courage and ingenuity could overcome even the most advanced machines. As the dust settled, the last of the drones malfunctioned, and the mercenaries retreated. Cole and Lyra stood victorious, battered but alive. The valley was quiet except for the distant hum of damaged machines. Cole looked at Lyra. "Humans survive," he said simply, "because we adapt, improvise, and never give up." Lyra smiled, exhaustion and relief washing over her. "I see that now," she admitted. "I was wrong. Humans aren't weak. We're unstoppable when we work together." Cole nodded. "Exactly. The artifact is powerful, yes, but the human mind, the human spirit, that's the real power." They moved to a safe distance, taking time to assess their situation. The artifact remained secure, its energy pulses faint but stable. Lyra carefully monitored it, realizing that with Cole's strategy, they had turned the tables on a seemingly invincible enemy. "Do you ever wonder," Lyra said quietly, "why humans are always underestimated?" Cole grinned. "Because we don't fit their patterns. Predictable behavior is easy to fight. Unpredictable behavior, that's dangerous." The wind carried the scent of distant fires and alien foliage. The sun dipped toward the horizon, casting long shadows across the valley. Cole and Lyra made camp for the night, using the opportunity to rest, recover, and plan their next move. As they sat by a small fire, Lyra spoke again. "I was scared when I first met you. I didn't want to trust anyone. I didn't want to be claimed." Cole looked at her, his expression serious but kind. "Being claimed isn't about control. It's about protection, about survival. And out here, trust is survival." Lyra nodded slowly, understanding the depth of his words. "I trust you, Cole. Completely." Cole smiled faintly. "Good. Because humans survive together, not alone." Night fell, and the stars of Duran, 7, glittered above them. The twin moons reflected off the artifact's faint energy, casting a soft glow. Cole and Lyra rested, knowing the danger was not fully over, but confident in their strength and strategy. Tomorrow they would continue their journey, moving toward a hidden human settlement where they could secure the artifact and plan a larger defense. But tonight, they allowed themselves a brief moment of triumph. Humans had faced overwhelming odds before. They had survived harsh frontiers, alien predators, and ruthless enemies. And tonight, in the quiet glow of the twin moons, Cole and Lyra knew that their ingenuity, courage, and unpredictability had made them victorious once again. The frontier was dangerous. The enemies were relentless. But humans always found a way. And Cole Harding, rugged, clever, and unyielding, had shown Lyra the true power of human spirit. They would fight, they would survive, and they would protect the artifact, not because it was easy, but because humans never gave up. Tomorrow, the battle would continue. But for now, they were alive, together, and that was enough.